As the investigation into the disappearance of Nathan O'Brien and Kathryn and Alvin Liknes moves into the 11th day, teams continue to search Calgary area landfills, and investigators continue to ask rural property owners to check their properties for anything unusual. Yesterday, search teams sifted through garbage at the Spyhill landfill site as part of a routine procedure to look for anything relevant to this ongoing investigation. Today, those teams have moved to a landfill off 17th Avenue and 68th Street Southeast. Additional search teams, in partnership with the RCMP, continue to cover a large area in and around the property in Airdrie in connection to this investigation. Officers are also going door to door at neighbouring acreages, asking residents to do a thorough check of their properties. And property owners, as well as businesses, are being asked to do the same. Once again, we'd like to thank the media and the public for their assistance in this investigation and continue to encourage anyone with information to please contact us or Crime Stoppers. And tips can also be emailed to homicidetips@calgarypolice.ca. You can appreciate there's limited information I could probably share, but I will ask or answer whatever questions I can at this time.
Are there any indications that there is still a meth lab or remnants of a meth lab operating at that property near Airdrie?
I can confirm that quantity of chemicals has been located at the Airdrie property. All I can say is that it has been considered dangerous and flammable in nature, so we're taking precautions at that site for the officers who are out there conducting the search and handling or looking at that chemical or those chemicals. Yesterday, we had AHS and ambulances there for that purpose, as well as for the folks that are out in the field doing the search. Today, there are some members of our tactical unit, explosive detection folks, who are chemical experts, and they're out there assessing as well. But at this time, we don't know if it's chemicals that are part of a typical farm operation or chemicals that could be used for something else. So until we know what those chemicals are, we can't say, and it's too early to speculate what those may be or what they may be used for.
Why is searching landfill standard procedure in a missing persons case?
In most major crimes cases, certainly in homicides and or missing crimes or missing persons cases like this, I can tell you in this particular incident that shortly after the disappearance was reported, we made contact with the 3 landfill sites in Calgary, and we asked that all refuse from the Calgary and surrounding area that goes to those 3 landfill sites be segregated off. In the early days of the investigation, we were following up on tips that were coming in from the public, and as part of this ongoing investigation, now we have investigators that are going through that those landfill sites in that area that have been segregated off to see if there's anything suspicious that may or may not be related to this file. So that's the process that they're going through at this time.
So there's nothing significant actually leading you to the landfills, it's just procedural?
Yeah, it was something that was activated the day of or the day after the disappearance.
Did you find anything?
There have been items that have been taken from the landfill site, but we don't know if there is any relevance to this file or not. So they're just looking for anything suspicious. Again, you can appreciate we're talking about all landfill that was collected for a number of days following the disappearance. So there is quite a quantity of refuse to go through. And so it's not specific to that area. So they're going through everything, and anything that might be suspicious we're taking as part of the investigation. We're having it checked, and we don't know though whether it has any relevance to the file or not.
Have you received
Right here.
any of the forensic evidence back that you sent up to the crime lab? Yeah.
We have. It's actually a constant process almost daily of things that we're sending up to the crime lab, still working closely with the crime lab who are expediting the work that they're doing on these items, and items are still coming back. Nothing that we can report on yet, but we are getting items back and forth every day.
Is there anything further you can say into the investigation into Douglas Garland?
Other than, of course, he remains a person of interest. He is still before the courts on the other matter. I understand that there are some conditions that the court are requiring as to whether or not he is released. If he is released, he still remains a person of interest in this investigation, but he has not been formally charged. And but I can't get into specifics as to what we'll be doing in regards to the ongoing investigation and our interest in him.
So
Are you
tomorrow, if he
investigating
is
those?
released, what happens?
Sorry, go ahead.
From a police standpoint, from tomorrow, if he's released, what happens?
He just remains a person of interest in this investigation, but I won't get into what we would be doing or furthering as part of this investigation with regards to him.
Are you investigating any sort of a business relationship between Mr. Garland and Alvin Liknes?
I can tell you that there is some business issues that we're looking into. I can't get into specifics as to what those are, who was involved, what they look like, or how many people are involved. But yes, we have investigators looking in to those allegations that there were some business issues, and we're dedicating a number of folks that are checking into that as well.
How far or how much would you say the investigation has advanced in the last couple of days? Are you still moving forward?
Absolutely. In fact, we were just talking to the homicide investigators, and they said that tips are still coming in, and there are a number of investigative avenues that they're following up on. So we are still moving forward on this investigation.
Are those investigative avenues still linked to the Airdrie acreage, or are you expecting to expand your search even further?
Well, no, I mean, the Airdrie location is just one of the avenues that we're following up on. There are a number of other avenues. Of course, the landfill sites are part of that investigation, but there are other things that we're following up on that have come in as a result of this investigation, and so it does still move forward, and there are a number of things we're still following up on.
Are you able to elaborate at all on what some of those other leads might be?
Not at this time, no.
It's day 11. Is there any kind of frustration studying that?
Nope, I don't think there's frustration. We remain hopeful that we locate the three people. We have dedicated a lot of resources. We'll continue to dedicate whatever resources we need. I know we got the same commitment from the RCMP, and we will continue on for as long as we need to on this investigation.
Will you be looking into other landfills other than the 3 once you're done with the 3 at Calgary?
I can't say that for sure. I can just say that the 3 landfill sites in Calgary do take into account the Calgary and some of the surrounding areas. So at this time, I'm only aware of the 3.
Yesterday, Chief Hansen said that you've had offers from other police jurisdictions to dedicate officers. Are you considering taking those jurisdictions up on that offer?
That's not uncommon. Usually in big situations, big files, big public events, there's a lot of cooperation from across the country, and so it wouldn't have been uncommon for other jurisdictions, especially in Alberta, to offer up those resources. I can't say for sure at this time if we've taken them up on that, but certainly that is not uncommon. It's something that we as the Calgary Police Service often do as well.
Is this still considered a missing persons file?
Yes, it is.
An Amber Alert still in effect?
The Amber Alert is still in effect. I mean, it's something that we assess on a day-to-day basis. It is a significant investigative strategy as part of this file. Tips do still come in, albeit they are slowing down from the early days of when the Amber Alert was put out. But if tips are still coming in, it is very important, and that information is critical for us to follow up on. So until such time as we no longer get tips there, we're going to assist the Amber Alert on a day-to-day basis.
Given the passage of time, what is the possibility that these people might still be okay?
You know, I'm not going to speculate. I'm just saying that we are hopeful that we will find them alive, and there's nothing to indicate otherwise. So we will remain hopeful, and we'll continue to work on this.
And just as a follow-up, you say that you have been in touch with the family. This must be a grueling time for them.
Absolutely.
How are they faring?
You know, again, they're devastated. This is unfathomable what they're going through. I know there's folks that are rallying behind them. Even tonight, there's a candlelight vigil being organized by friends that's open to the public. So you see a lot of community support. You see a lot of the family support. Everybody is watching this closely. Everybody wants to help. We're seeing a lot of offers for help and support right across the city, and that's typical for Calgary. So I know that the family appreciates that. They also appreciate the amount of resources and time that we're putting into this investigation. So nothing's going to change. We'll dedicate what we need to, and as we said before, we'll continue on, and no stone will be left unturned.
Kevin, are landowners being told to look for anything specific, the ones that you're going door to door?
No. So what we said is even people in the community around Park Hill, anybody for the amount of time it takes to check their properties in the city, rural properties, you know your property better than anybody else. You can see if anything's missing, if anything's been disturbed, if there's anything odd, tire tracks, absolutely anything that's out of the ordinary. We would rather hear about it and follow up on it to see if there's any relevance or not, and that's what we're asking folks to do. So take a bit of time, check your properties, either in the city or rural. Businesses, some of the oil companies have wellheads, things like that, sites that are not checked on a regular basis. So we're asking, take the time, send folks out, have a look around. If anything's suspicious, let us know. So tips are still coming in, but that would be very, very helpful.
You've
Kevin, in
reached
your
out to
experience,
the-
Oh, go ahead, and then I'll come over here. Go ahead.
You've reached out to the public a number of times throughout the last week and a half. We know you've gotten tips from across the country, but we also know that you didn't even hear from half the people that attended that estate sale. How are you feeling about what you've gotten back from your request to the public?
Well, we're frustrated that we still probably have over half the folks from the estate sale that haven't come forward. But certainly the tips and the information that we've been receiving have been excellent. And a lot of that we're still following up on. So we'd still really like anybody that hasn't talked to us yet that was at the estate sale just to give us a call, and we'll do whatever we can to touch base with them in whatever way they need to. But we're still waiting for half of those folks.
In your experience, have you seen a case like this before?
In my 35 years, no. And I've talked to other senior command people, senior investigators, and this is a very, very unique case. But it doesn't matter the type of case or how difficult it is. The same amount of dedication and resources and commitment to this file is given to all files. So we're just going to continue on with optimism and hope that we can still find these folks.
Why is this case so unique?
Sorry, go ahead.
Why is this case so unique? You said you haven't seen anything like it in 35 years. What is it
No,
about
I think it's just the fact that we're into 11 days. We have 3 missing people. We're still getting some tips. There are some investigative leads that are following up on, and as the days pass, it does pose its challenges. So that's what makes it unique. A lot of files sometimes can be solved very quickly, or at least you have suspects that you can follow up on right away. So it's unique in that way. But again, it doesn't change how we're responding to this file or the resources that we've committed to it.
What do you say to reassure the family?
Well, we're in contact with the family every day. They're happy and satisfied the amount of resources that are being put into this. We're trying to investigate or keep them up on the investigation as much as we can with what we can share, of course. And certainly they're very appreciative of the support that they're getting from the community. So I think from their perspective, I believe they think everything that can be done is being done and will continue that way.
You've been at that property for 7 days now. Are you finding anything new? Do you still expect to find new things? Or are you looking at what you already have? I assume you've been through everything at this point?
Well, we still hold that property, and we'll hold it indefinitely. As more information or leads or tips come in, there may be things that we need to go back and look at. So at this point, the house has been thoroughly searched. Our forensic teams have been in there, but we are not releasing the property at this point.
Doug Garland is the only person of interest.
We have a number of investigative avenues that we're following up on. He remains as a person of interest, but I won't get into anything other than other investigative avenues that we're following up
How
on.
long do you hold out hope?
Hold on, oh, sorry.
He asked my question.
Sorry?
How long do you hold out hope? There's still
Indefinitely, until we get information or evidence to change that. And at this point, we have not, so we are hopeful and will remain that way until something changes.
Have you
Quick
ever gotten
question.
any other surveillance video that's significant at all?
Not that I'm aware of that, at least I've been briefed on it that I can share.
Quick
You
question.
said there were other, or the house at the Garland property has been thoroughly searched. There's other buildings and whatnot on that property as well?
Oh, sorry, the house in Park Hill has been thoroughly searched.
Okay.
We're still in the process of searching the properties, outbuildings, in that Airdrie area as well as surrounding properties. So that's still ongoing.
Very quick question, scale and scope of this investigation, how many investigators and if you just sort of walk us through how this.
Well, and it's not just investigators, there's a number of support people. We have community partners, we have some other agencies like the RCMP. I think at any given day, there's probably more than 100 folks that are touching this file in one way or another.
What do you mean by community partners?
Well, Alberta Health Services, for example, we have used in Calgary our partners in Calgary Search and Rescue to help us out. So there are other people involved other than Calgary Police Service members.
Were there any signs of violence found elsewhere than the Liknes?
Yeah, I won't comment on that.
Have you been
Thanks.
able to identify who the person was that was injured in the home yet?
No, I won't comment on that.
Just a couple more questions?
So that business and financial connection, some things have come out about that, some details. I mean, are you guys still looking into that?
Yeah, so we are aware of some business issues regarding the family, and so we have officers or investigators that are looking at that to see if there is a connection to this disappearance.
Is there any other charges that Mr. Garland would face at this time?
Not at this time that I'm aware of.